Well, hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Emmett and today I am going to show you guys all of the gear that you need to start your own YouTube channel for less than $300. Now, I do want to give a little bit of disclaimer before I get into this that I am just starting out my own YouTube channel. At the time of filming, I think I've got like 48 subscribers, so clearly my channel is not particularly big yet, and so I'm still, learning, growing, buying new things, and so forth. But I wanted to go ahead and share my perspective as a beginning YouTuber for other beginning YouTubers, and share some of the gear that I use to create my videos. Now, just to quickly introduce myself, if you're finding this video, I am a professional software developer who started making videos about landscape photography, which I really love, a few months back. And so I put out weekly videos about landscape photography, some tech reviews and photography gear reviews, and just things about general creativity. So getting into things that you need to start your channel. The very first things that you need are you're going to need an idea and you're going to need a Google account. Now both of those things are free, right? So an idea it's going to be whatever you want your channel to be about and some personal reason why you really want to make this channel, whatever it is that is motivating you to do this. And then you're going to need a Google account, set up all of the things with YouTube, but that is completely free to do. YouTube has a vested interest in you making good videos and publishing on their website because they are actually profiting off of that as well, right? And so they don't charge you anything to upload as many videos as you want, which is really nice. The other thing that you're going to need is you're going to need a computer and some video editing software. So if you have a Mac, as I do, you can use iMovie, which is already going to come on the Mac for free, which is very helpful. There are other free options for Windows as well, but I'm not really familiar with them, so I'm not going to recommend any in particular. There's, of course, very expensive video editing software that you can buy, and I'm sure I'll probably upgrade myself to something like that later on, but that's an investment of about $300, and so as you're starting out your channel, you're probably going to want to pick out something for free that just lets you cut your videos together and do some basic edits like that. And then you are going to obviously need a camera that you can film your videos on. For me, a lot of the time, this is just my phone. Now at the moment, I'm using my camera to film this video, but when I'm out doing landscape photography, I use that camera, of course, for the photography side of things, and I use my phone to film my videos. And starting out, I did my indoor videos with the phone as well. And smartphones these days have really great cameras on them. They're very capable of recording pretty high quality video. So really, as you're starting out especially, you don't need to run out and buy a $1,000 camera or whatever. You can just use the phone that you already have that has a pretty good quality camera in it already. Now those are all of the things that you really have to have in order to start a channel. So, the rest of the stuff that I'm going to mention is definitely helpful to have as you're starting out the channel. It'll make your videos better, but you don't absolutely have to have these things if you want to start out with essentially no money into it at all. Getting into some other things though, you will need a ring light or some other form of light. So I've got my ring light right here. And if I just show it to you guys here, so it's just a ring of light like this, and this particular one is able to be different colors and so forth, and that just helps the image of the video to look a little bit better. If I were to turn off my ring light right now, and I just have a lamp on over there, this is what it would look like just with that. And I actually have another lamp right here, so I could turn that on as well. And this is what it would look like if I were to film myself just with the two lamps in the room. And you just really don't get quite the same lighting, you don't get as good of contrast, and it's much harder to control the light in your video that way when you're using those bright household lights. And so having a ring light just enables you to control that light a lot more, get a nice contrast to things and so forth, and really get a good look in your video. You can pick up a ring light for around $30. There's obviously very expensive ring lights. There's really expensive light boxes and soft boxes and things that you can get to make your lighting look really nice. But you can get just one of these cheap ring lights for like $30 or whatever, and that'll help you get started on your channel without having that huge outlay of money. And they really do quite well. You can learn a lot about light from just moving it around and experimenting with it and so forth. Another thing that's pretty important to have is a microphone. So I'm using the Movo VXR10 Pro for my videos, which is a little shotgun mic. There's also lavalier mics that clip on your shirt, and there's wireless lavs as well, which are pretty expensive, but you can just get a wired one very cheaply. The issue with that, of course, is that you're tethered to the camera, which is why I like to use a kind of cheaper shotgun mic. You don't need to get terribly expensive mics to start out. Obviously, there's really nice, very expensive microphones that you can buy later on. But starting out, you don't have to do that. But a lot of people really don't like watching a video that has very poor quality audio in it. It's just kind of makes it uncomfortable for your ears, I guess, you know, when you're watching someone's video that has really bad audio. So I'll show you guys right now, or let you listen right now to what the audio would sound like just out of the camera without this mic on. So I've got the mic off right now. This is the mic that I'm using. But right now you're just hearing the audio from the camera's built-in mics. Now phones can do pretty decent with the audio, especially if you're indoors. So you might be able to get away with it at first if you don't have the money to put into a mic. But you can buy one of these for maybe $60 or so it's not really that bad. I'll go ahead and put it back on now and let you guys hear how the sound is different with it on there. Alright, and so this again is the sound with that mic mounted on top of the camera. A quick note about microphones with smartphones as well is you're going to want to make sure that the microphone comes with everything that you need to connect it to your smartphone and that it is fully compatible with smartphones. That's why I do like Movo's mics a lot, because they already come with the cable to plug it into your smartphone, and they've designed their mics with smartphones in mind. Lots of other mics though will work with a phone, but you just have to make sure that it's fully compatible and comes with a TRRS rather than a TRS cable to plug it in with. So this is the type of cable that you need to plug it in. It's got more rings on it than a regular cable. And then you might need some kind of an adapter as well. So this is a lightning to the 3.5mm headphone jack adapter. And you can just plug it right into your phone with that. Another thing that you're gonna need is you're gonna need a couple of cheap tripods. You're gonna need one to hold up your phone that you're gonna be filming with, and you'll need some kind of a phone mount for that. And then you'll probably need one to hold up your ring light. Some of them will come with a light stand, and if you're just using that tripod for the light in particular, you can get a light stand that's a little bit less leggy than a regular tripod is. Personally though, mine's on one of my other tripods because I have several different tripods sitting around in here. But you can get a cheap tripod like this for about $30. Now, this is not an amazing tripod. It kind of makes, you know, squeaking noises when I move it around. And several people commented on one of my videos a couple weeks ago telling me I needed to upgrade my tripod, and I have done that for my heavier camera, so don't worry. But, you know, don't at me, right? You can get one of these pretty cheaply and put your phone on it. That will do quite well to hold your phone, particularly in a calm environment. So you really don't need to spend, you know, $150 or whatever it is on a nice tripod. You can get one of these cheap ones to get started with. And then to mount your phone on top of that, there are tripods that already come with some phone mounts on them, or you can buy one separately. I like to use one of these little metal ones rather than one of the springy plastic ones because I can screw this onto my phone and I just feel like it holds it a little tighter. It's good peace of mind that way. I don't have to worry about breaking this. And I don't pinch my fingers in it when I'm putting my phone on. So I just like one of these. It's about $12, but you could save a little money even and just get a plastic one or a tripod that comes with one. Now, if you're going to be walking around a lot for some of your video, as I tend to be, you might want to get a gimbal stabilizer for your phone. Now, this is completely optional. You don't really have to have one of these. You can just walk with your phone and try to hold it steadily. Or if you're, filming sitting still, you don't really need one at all. But as I'm walking around a lot, I tend not to be particularly steady. I'm usually hiking in the woods. And so I really like having one of these to stabilize my phone. It has little tripod legs that on the bottom of it, but they unscrew. And then I will screw this little bracket into it like this. And that way I can put a mic on the other side of it to get the mic on there because there's not a way to connect it on top. And then your phone just pops into the top right here like this. You kind of level it up and it holds your phone nice and steady so that it's not bouncing around quite as much as you're walking and filming. And just makes your shots look a lot smoother that way. As well as I actually like to put it on the tripod with that so that when I'm filming in the woods I don't have to worry as much about leveling the tripod that's got my filming camera. I can be walking and then pretty quickly just sit it down and it'll keep it level for me as I go and do other things so I don't have to think about it. Now, those are a bit more expensive. They're gonna cost you maybe $80 or $100 for one of these, plus the little bracket and so forth. So maybe $100 total, you can get all of that set up. So if you're not walking around a lot, or if you don't have a lot of money you want to put in, you don't have to buy that at first. And that's something that I actually bought later on. But something to think about there if you're going to be walking around a lot. And then the final thing that I'm going to list is you'll need an external hard drive. So each video that I take is probably 15-20 gigabytes worth of video footage, and depending on how long your videos are and how high of quality of video you're recording and so forth, you might have even more than that. Maybe you could be a little less than that as well. But videos take a lot of storage space. And so this is kind of your main ongoing cost of a YouTube channel is you're going to need to buy some external hard drives to put that video footage on, because your computer is going to pretty quickly run out of space on you if you're trying to store all of your past videos on there. And I don't really like to delete my videos. I want to keep them, right? And so you can pick up an external hard drive for maybe like $50 or so for a 2 terabyte one. So they're not too terribly expensive if you kind of do the math on that. If you have 20 gigabytes of footage for a video and you get a 2 terabyte hard drive, that will last you for 100 videos. So you're not going to have to buy them too terribly often. It's not like every month or something you have to buy a new hard drive. But you do have to keep in mind that ongoing cost of occasionally you will need to buy that external hard drive. But that, guys, is really about it. That's pretty much all that I really need on the regular for my videos. Again, there's some things that you can buy to make your life a little bit easier, and there's definitely much nicer versions of all of this stuff that you can buy. You could spend thousands and thousands of dollars on your channel if you wanted to, but as you're getting started off, chances are you probably don't want to. I'm sure you, like me, have some budget that you need to stay within, and so you've got an idea that you want to share with the world, but you don't want to spend massive amounts of money on it. And the good news is that you can definitely do that. YouTube is surprisingly accessible to get on and start putting videos on. So if you have an idea for a channel, hopefully this helps you guys to see that you can get started right away without having to spend a lot of money on it, and just start off with your phone, publish some videos. And if you've got a really good idea, people are going to enjoy watching that, even if you don't have the highest of quality equipment and maybe even don't have the highest of quality videos to start out. So don't put too much pressure on yourself and don't feel like you need to spend massive amounts of money starting out. You can always make your videos better as your channel grows. Speaking of channels growing, clearly mine is not that big right now, so don't forget to hit that like button on your way out. That would really help me. Subscribe to the channel if you want to follow along and see videos about this sort of thing, landscape photography, and just general creative life. And if you have a channel yourself and you've got some experience in this area, leave a comment down below and let those of us who are just starting out, myself included in that, know what some tips are for gear or some things that you wish you'd done differently and so forth. We definitely would appreciate hearing from you. As always guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.